You're sitting there scrolling through your phone, trying to make sense of the silence. Your heart's heavy, your mind's spinning, and everything reminds you of her laugh, her eyes, the way she made you feel like home and chaos all at once. You miss her. You want her back. Somewhere deep down, you believe if you just say the right thing or do the right thing, maybe, just maybe, she'll come running back. That's where most men go wrong. They think getting her back is about convincing her. It's not. It's not about late-night messages, long apologies, sending her flowers when she's already emotionally checked out. It's about chasing clarity, not her. And clarity doesn't come when you're drowning in emotion. It comes when you step back and look at everything with a sober mind and a steady heart. Ask yourself what really happened. Did you ignore the signs she was slipping away? Did you give too much of yourself while asking for nothing in return? Or were you both just two people pretending it was working when deep down the cracks had already formed? You can't fix what you don't understand. Blindly chasing someone who left without asking why they left only sets you up to repeat the same heartbreak later. This isn't about blame. It's about ownership. Real clarity means seeing your part in it.
Wow.
It means realizing where you lost yourself trying to hold on to her. And once you get that clarity, the kind that doesn't shake when your emotions flare up again, that's when real growth begins. That's when the healing starts to do its work. And ironically, that growth, that's what changes everything. It's not just for her, but for you. Because now, you're not reacting, you're evolving. Asterisk silence isn't weakness. It's one of the most powerful tools you have when everything feels out of control. After a breakup, the urge to reach out, to explain, to beg, to fix it's overwhelming. Feel like if you could just talk to her, if you could just make her understand, maybe things would go back to the way they were. But here's the truth most men never learn. The more you chase, the more power you give away. Real strength is found in restraint, in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. And in this moment, silence is your loudest answer. When you go quiet, you shift the dynamic completely. Stop feeding her the comfort of your presence, the security of knowing you're always just a message away. You stop trying to remind her of your worth, and instead you reclaim your energy. That silence becomes space for her. Yes, but more importantly for you. Space to reflect. Space to rebuild. Space to take back all the emotional weight you kept giving away. You're not using silence as punishment. You're using it as peace. That shift doesn't go unnoticed. She starts to feel it. Of your voice, your attention, your presence, it creates a void. It's not to manipulate her, but to remind her what it felt like when you were around. That contrast can only exist when you step away long enough for her to miss it. In that space, she's no longer reacting to your messages or your calls. She's reacting to her own thoughts, her own doubts, her own curiosity. That's where the real questions begin. Not from your words, but from your absence. You don't have to say a thing. Silence says it'll end. It says it better. Asterisk she. Thought she knew you? She thought she had you figured out? Your routines, your habits, your limits? Maybe she even thought you'd always be there. Waiting, hoping, aching quietly in the background. But now it's time to change the story. Not to impress her, not to make her jealous, but to evolve into a version of yourself that doesn't revolve around her. Reinvention doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means finally becoming you again. The you that got lost somewhere in the process of trying to keep her. You start with the body because it's where pain hides. You wake up earlier. You train harder. You stop treating the gym like therapy and start treating it like discipline. You eat better, sleep deeper, and push through the resistance that used to break you. And then you go further. You set goals. You start reading again. You take that course you kept putting off. You build. Not because you're trying to distract yourself, but because you're finally remembering who the hell you are. And when you do that, when you start moving different, thinking different, living different, people notice. She notices. It's not about posting it online or showing off. It's about the quiet evolution, the shift in your energy, the new calm in your voice, the purpose behind your eyes. And that's what throws her off. She thought she left behind a man who needed her. But now she sees a man who's building without her. A man who didn't fall apart, but used the fall to rebuild stronger. That's not performance. That's power. And power isn't loud. grounded, it's focused, it's undeniable. So reinvent yourself not for her attention, but because your future demands it. And because the man you're becoming deserves nothing less. Asterisk, there are wounds you carry that no one ever saw, even her. The kind of pain you tucked away because you thought staying silent was stronger than speaking up. Maybe you gave everything your time, your loyalty, your full heart, and she didn't see how deeply you were bleeding behind the scenes. You smiled through the confusion, tried to be steady while your soul was screaming, and when she pulled away, you didn't tell her what it did to you. But now, after the silence, after the storm, it's time to stop hiding from that pain. Because healing doesn't come from pretending you're okay. It comes from facing what hurt you without flinching. Sit with yourself. Be honest. Ask the questions most men never dare to ask. Why did you stay when you felt unseen? Why did you accept a love that was half present, half committed, half real? Why did you keep quiet about your needs, hoping she'd just understand? That's where the wound lives, not in what she did, but in what you allowed because you thought it was love. And now you have to go back to that place, not to blame her, but to understand yourself. To figure out why you placed your worth in someone else's hands and called it loyalty. Healing is uncomfortable. It's lonely. But it's necessary. Because the moment you truly begin to heal, you stop needing her to give you closure. Stop needing her to validate your pain. You give it to yourself. You rewrite the story, not as the man who is broken, but as the man who refused to stay broken. And from that place, you rise with a kind of strength no one can take from you. That kind of healing isn't loud, it's quiet, it's steady, and it's where your real power begins. Asterisk, there comes a point in every man's journey when the desire to get her back is replaced by something deeper: peace. At first, it's just a flicker. A moment where you realize you haven't thought about her in hours. A breath that doesn't feel heavy. And then it grows. You begin to understand that the goal was never really to win her back. It was to win yourself back. And when that shift happens, everything changes. You're no longer moved by her silence, no longer triggered by her presence or her absence. You've built something steady inside yourself, and that stability is where your real power lives. If she comes back, and sometimes they do, you won't be rushing to open the door. You'll pause, not out of pride, but out of awareness. You'll ask yourself if this version of her fits the man you've become, not the man you were when you lost her, the man you are now, because now you've done the work. You've grown through the silence. You've found direction in your solitude. You're no longer emotionally starving, hoping she'll feed you with breadcrumbs of attention. You've created your own table, your own feast, your own peace, and that's the difference between wanting her and needing her. Wanting is grounded. Needing is desperation. Most men take her back out of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not finding someone else. Fear that she was their only shot, but not you. You've already walked through the fire, so if she returns, it's on your terms. She has to meet you where you are, not drag you back to where you were. That's the mark of a man who's healed. He can love without losing himself. He can walk away, not because he's cold, but because he finally knows his worth.